He's been my friend. Somebody said he's been my friend. Yes, he's been my friend since 1976. I was 1 year ahead of him at entire school. But he's also my relative. My wife was Casey's aunt. So Casey was also calling me uncle. But he would always say, how can you be my uncle? You remain being a professor and keep that on you. You can't take all titles. So would argue, and then he says, okay, sir, you are a professor, but you are not my uncle. And we would move on. Now, many of us are here because Keith died of cancer, and many people know that he died of cancer. But also, we have very many of us who are seated here who actually have cancer. Many, this is not a threat, but this is to encourage you that we are living one day at a time. And you must know, as the preacher said, prepare your way. Where are you going? And Keith prepared his way. I can be a testimony to that. In 2018, I want to first recognize the presence of those who came from the Uganda Cancer Institute. I don't know whether they are here. And if they are not here, I want to thank them in absentia for the work they have done and they did for Keith. November 2018, Keith was diagnosed with a lymphoma, which was very difficult to diagnose by many hospitals. But thanks to our president, who has many friends, and had Turkey as our partner, and we had a partnership with a university called Çukurova in Adana, Turkey. And that university has a very good world-class hospital. And they were partners with Makerere University, for which program I was coordinating until I retired recently, 2 years ago. So the team in the Cancer Institute looked at him. They couldn't tell what it was. He went to Aga Khan. They couldn't tell what it was. And many of you Abanyankore, I will tell you, Abanyankore bine ekibakweta ente y'abaana. Many of you, I think, know it. Ekyo ekizimbe kizaaha ekikazaho kya lymph node kaza Abanyankore bakachosi. That is where his cancer started from, when he was young. And by the time they made the diagnosis, it was in his bones. But he was not ailing. He had minor symptoms. So the diagnosis was made in Turkey, and they decided to put him on treatment, chemotherapy, radiotherapy, and every time they treated him, he did very well. He improved, but he didn't recover. So they do something else, he improves, he doesn't recover. But he would keep saying, I'm going to defeat this thing. And it was decided that since he kept having remissions, they would now have what they call stem cell transplant, or what many of us call bone marrow transplant. And he was in Adana with Janet, and I'll talk about Janet briefly. And while he was there, COVID hit. As they were preparing him for stem cell transplant, which is not many of you will accept to have that treatment on you. And I want on this point to thank Janet, standing with him through that treatment. Where when they start treating you, you stay in that room. You don't go outside. You don't go to natural light. You stay inside for Was it 30 or 40 days? 40 days inside. And they stayed together inside. And she was there and supported him. So before they started it, this COVID attacked him. They had prepared him and he got COVID and he became very sick. And Janet shared with me, and the doctors were my friends. They told me. So I went there to see him as a friend. One, to give him hope. Two, to hope that he was going to improve and discuss with the doctors how we were managing COVID here. As many of you know that I was part of COVID, my other name was COVID at that time. So when I reached there, the doctor, and I was with Janet, said, nearly everybody admitted here dies in the ICU. But your brother is doing very well. We do not know whether all Africans are doing this. And he told us himself, Keith, I'm going to recover from this, and I get my other treatment, because his focus was on the stem cells, because we looked at it as an answer. He recovered. Later on, he had his stem cell transplant, and he was hidden in that place. And he survived, and he reacted well, and he started improving. And that is when he came back. After spending a whole year, many of you didn't see him for a whole year. He was in Turkey. And I think I went there several times to visit him, just to chat with him, to give him hope. But what I discovered whenever you go there, every day he would be on the phone with this man they call Kenneth. They would be there talking money, finance. Then I told him, you man, leave those things. And he said, no, I have to serve my country. And he kept working. I'm sure Kenneth testifies to this. When he came back, they gave him chance to have reviews, because when he left, they were convinced he had recovered. He went the first round, he was clean. We were very happy. When second time, he was clean. The third time, they saw something very small. And they said, this is suspicious. And he came back with Janet, and they went to Aga Khan, and that something was still there, and they saw it also. So, moving forward fast, we discussed with Turkey. They said, for us, our technology stops here. Further technology in Seattle and Italy. We had an opportunity. Case was a good student. I hear you people saying that he was an economist. But the man understood medicine. You sit with him and he understands, and tomorrow he gives you the same lecture you gave him. We sat with the UCI, Uganda Cancer Institute team, the oncology team, and Seattle team, and Turkey, and the discussed, and then brought him on board Milan. And we agreed that he needed to be reviewed, and those people confirmed whether it was actually active, so that he gets more treatment. And in January, it was decided by the family. They chose not to go to Seattle, they chose to go to Milan for reasons it is near. If he had passed on in Seattle, would be waiting maybe another 2 weeks or so, but not because they wanted to be near and he dies, but they wanted to be near where he could have contact with people. He went for an assessment, and indeed they found those cells were active. So it was decided that they actually put him on the treatment, which is higher. The technology is at least not in Africa, and very few people have been treated on this in the whole world. And there are chances of survival, 40 to 60% chance, and you are able to clear them. And they told him all the complications, as I'm going to mention them. And he said, I will go for it, and I believe I will defeat it. So they took this treatment. They actually take your own T cells and then genetically modify them, put them back to you, and they fight the cancer in your body. So essentially genetically modify your own cells, put them back, and they fight the foreign, which is the cancer. So when they were ready, he went back, and when he went back, they put them in him. He went back February this year, and the first few days I talked to him. He was very excited. He said, "This thing, Bazeyo, I have to fit it." And then I told him, I'll also come and see, so that we'd fit it together. After about 10 days, things started not looking well. He started developing complications. And these complications, he was aware, Janet was aware, I was aware. And I'm sure maybe they had told the children, I don't know. These complications, you develop cells in your own body. You develop cells that secrete a substance that actually kills your own cells. So these cells, cytokinins, those of you who read about them, this treatment is called CART, K-A-R-T, cell treatment. And some of you may be interested to read about it, because if you are sick, it is the last treatment you can have. And if you are lucky, you do well. Those chemicals that were secreted, they normally kill red blood cells, so you become anemic. They kill white blood cells, your immunity goes down. And as they were attacking him, the doctors decided now to attack them. So they fought them back, and as they were succeeding, he got, pressure went down, his kidneys started failing, so they put him on dialysis, improved his kidneys. As they improved them, the liver also went down. They now went to fight with those that were in the liver. And as they were moving on that, he developed a lot of fluids in the lungs. But now, they saw that these fluids was from the COVID he had, because they had to drain it, put in a tube and drain it. But Janet was hopeful. They had an opportunity to talk to the doctors. Those doctors are as shocked as we are, because they had a lot of hope in him to improve. The lungs started failing. The kidneys, which had improved, also failed again. The liver failed. And he got cardiac problems. And as he continued, they could not recover his problems. So his cause of death was multiple organ failure as a result of the treatment. Ladies and gentlemen, Keith had a resilient body. I have been in practice in medicine more than 30 years. I have seen very few people who have gone through treatment of cancer, and you look at them and they look normal. At some point they look bad off. But at every point he actually did very well. And he would tell me, "Talk whenever I fit this thing." Secondly, he had will to live. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have will to live, because you may not do much, but if you lose your will to live, you can't stay. Third and most important, he had a supportive wife. This Janet you see here knows as much medicine on cancer, because she would read, she would call me, we would discuss. Even when I went to Turkey, even when they were in this place, we were discussing as if we were colleagues. But Janet had the will and belief that Keith was going to make it. Even after the time he passed on, Janet talked to me about an hour before, and we talked, and he said, "He's going down, but I hope and believe that he's coming up."